adjusted here? Need to. My videos. There we are. Okay. Oh, shit.
I think 2 people are on.
Okay. Just get set up here. Volume down on this. Okay. Say we got 2 there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This thing's just hooking up there. It's taking a while to connect. Come down to your level. There. Okay. So we've got 2 people. Well, one of them could be me. It probably picks up the
4?
Oh, 4 now, 5. Okay. So, hello everybody. Hi, Susie Q. How are ya?
Yeah, we're a little.
We're definitely on a different day and time right now. This weekend has been so busy. Seems to be taking forever to connect to that. I don't know why. So how you doing, Sue?
We don't have to watch it on here.
No, I suppose we don't.
I find it's annoying sometimes.
Yeah, okay, I'll turn it off from that. Okay. So, how many we got now? We got 6 people. Alrighty. 7. So this will be interesting to see how many people we get at this time on a Sunday afternoon. Brenda's here. Hi, Brenda. It's BMC 9605. Good to see you people. Now, this is definitely a different time spot for us because we usually like to do them on Friday nights, as you know, Champagne Friday. But this week
we have soda Sunday.
Yeah, soda. We are drinking water, actually sparkling. Mine has a little lime in it as well. Susie says, great, I retired on the 24th. How are you rested up from your big trip? Yep, we are. So you've just retired, Sue. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
So you're ready for the rest of your life in there? Got any big plans? Anybody else talking here? What are we up to now? We're up to 8 people. Don't be shy, people. Talk to us. Talk to us. We don't have a heck of a lot to discuss today, but back what I was saying is normally, of course, we do these on Friday nights. But this week, Friday night, we had the Man's Dance. We'll talk a little bit about that in a few minutes. And then Saturday night, we had a 50th birthday party to go to, so we'll talk a little bit about that as well. And so now here it is, Sunday afternoon, and we're doing this at this time. So we're going to see how this time slot works, but usually we will do them on Friday night. Mm-hmm. Now, having said that, next Friday night we will not be on because it is what they call RMG Fridays. You've heard me talk about that before at the Art Gallery, and we're both gallery attendants. So we have to be there at about 6:30, excuse me, on Friday night. We still both have a bit of our colds.
Yeah.
From London. Actually, we were going to go on a little bit earlier, but somebody had a headache. He says he's a little better now. I don't know. So anyways, next week we'll probably be on Saturday night around 6 or 6:30 with that. That's the plan. Susie says, you bet. I'm going to enjoy every minute. No more train to Toronto 5 days a week. Yeah, that'll be
nice.
And you'll save some money on that.
Yeah, true.
More money to spend on crafting supplies. Yes. Baz Joan is here. Hi, Bez. BMC, or that's Brenda. She says it's cold and rainy here in WV. I'm assuming that means West Virginia.
It's cold and rainy here too.
Yeah. Expecting snow flurries tonight. Yeah.
Oh, we don't have any.
Oh, wait. Maybe that's not West. Is that West Virginia, Brenda? So yeah, we're not predicting snow, but it's rainy here. It's been the whole weekend's been kind of
crappy.
Yeah, it's been like fall.
It's actually been like fall.
Yeah. So anyways, we got about 8 people now. Well, let's just get into things because we don't have a lot to talk about. So if you have any questions about anything, feel free to let us know. Okay, so first thing I've been having this whole weekend too, I've been having problems with my computer.
Yeah.
My computer has decided that it wants to shut down as soon as I turn my back. It's very uncanny. I'm working on the computer, everything is fine, it's normal. Then I go away from it for a few minutes, come back, it's completely shut down. No rhyme or reason. And I've been pulling my hair out trying to fix this problem. I've gone online, Walter's been online, looked up stuff. A lot of people have been having this problem, it seems, with the latest Windows update. Of course, Windows is being very quiet about the whole thing. They never admit, Windows and Apple never admit that they might have made a mistake. Like Apple drives you nuts because their policy is that they never make a mistake. And every time they come out with a new release of their operating system, you dread having to put it on because you know there's going to be something that'll be screwed up. They usually get around to fixing it eventually, but they will never admit that there's a problem. It's always the user end, always that. But anyways, Walter did some more research. We found a couple of things out, and I think I've got the problem solved now. Cross my fingers. I was almost at the point where I thought I'd have to go out and buy a new computer this weekend. And my computer is pretty old, my main one. It's trying to think when I got it. I had it before I retired, so I've been retired for over 5 years. So it's at least that.
Well, mine's 2013, so yours is older than mine. So.
Well, you got yours in 2013?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's 4 years, 5. Well, mine's probably about 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I like that computer. It's generally speaking been okay. It works fine. But I mean, computers only last so long, right? So anyways, what I wasn't looking forward to, not so much spending the money on a new computer, but the time it would take to set it up. So I spent part
He's
of
got a lot of stuff on his computer.
Yeah.
So.
I have all my data is backed up, but now what I've done is I've taken one of my other computers, the one I use. When you see my videos for the things I'm making, I'm doing those through a computer that's on my craft bench. And what I've done now is I basically have made that computer a mirror image of my main computer. And I also wrote another program to back up my data to that computer. So if anything happens to the main computer, all I have to do is switch them out. That's my theory. We'll see how that works out. Let's see what people are saying. Meliard is here. Hi, Meliard. Baz Jones says, Baz Jones says, signing here with my alter ego. I'm actually B. Okay, B. And yes, it is West Virginia that Brenda's in. And let's see, what's else happening here? Oh, yeah. B says, Windows are already talking about a patch. Oh, so have you been experiencing this problem too with it? Kimberly says, I hate those Apple updates. They always change something you're used to already, and then you have to relearn. Yep, exactly. And we have a lot of Apple products. We have 3 Apple TVs. 3? Yeah, 3. One downstairs, one on this one.
Yeah, 3, yeah.
Yeah, and one on the bedroom TV. And then we both have iPads. Actually, I have 2 iPads.
I have 2 iPads.
And you have 2 iPads.
Except that I don't use the old one.
No, I use the old one. My old one. It sits on top of my treadmill. I use it all the morning when I'm on the treadmill. I use that one there. And he bought me a new iPad that had more. When I started doing these videos, my vlog and that, I do them through my iPad. And my old iPad didn't have enough memory in it to handle the rendering you have to do of the video. So Walter bought me for my birthday a new iPad that has a lot more memory. And so that's basically what we're recording on right now as well. And of course we both have iPhone 6s. Looking at the iPhone 10, but not sure yet.
I'm going to wait till they work the bugs out. I have a feeling there's going to be problems on it. But
yeah. Can you hear Walter all right? Because he tends to mumble. So what are people saying? Brenda says, I have a 3 terabyte external drive for storage, makes it easier. Yeah, I've got a 2 terabyte. Actually, I've got two 1 terabytes and one 2 terabyte. Or is it and then I have a 4, is that a 4 terabyte that I have
I don't think you have 4 terabytes.
No, that must be a 2 terabyte. The one that I
Yeah.
use, that's wireless, that we can access through the internet when we're not at home.
Yeah, we don't have no shortage of computers.
No, we have lots of computers. I have 4 computers in my craft room. My main one, then there's one that runs all our music and sometimes videos as well. Then I have one I used to use when I downloaded stuff kind of illegally. But now that we have other boxes that do this stuff automatically, and actually we're going to talk about something we've just got new too in a few minutes. It sits there and is not doing a heck of a lot. It's kind of my one that if I have to go someplace and take a laptop with me because I need to use it as a word processor, I'll take that one with me. And then I've got the one on the craft bench. And then he's got one in his office, plus he picked up an old one that you haven't done anything with that,
no,
have
I
you?
have to look at that. It's got Linux in it. I want to figure out how to use it.
So there, yeah, you keep saying you're going to learn.
Yeah, I gotta look
Got
at
to
it.
get on with that. What else do people say? Sue says, Sue Manning, this is not our Susie Q, this is Sue Manning, says, I'm awake at 5 a.m. here in Cairns, Queensland, Australia. Hello to you both. Well, that's now 5 a.m. Yep. We have friends that are over in Australia right now. They just left this past Thursday. And of course, you know that we're coming back to Australia. We won't be in Cairns
No.
at all either. This time we're going to go to, and I've told you all this before anyways, but we're going to Melbourne, then Adelaide, then Perth, and then back down to Sydney. And Kimberly says, I hear you loud and clear, Walt. And Susie Q says, Walt, I like that. I'm not sure what she's liking, but she likes it. This is the problem when this scrolls by, trying to keep the conversation going. Melly Art says, what are you boys drinking today? Well, Melly Art, it's
Plain old sparkling
it's
water.
just sparkling water. We have one of those Soda Masters.
Soda Stream.
Or Soda Stream, yeah. And so we make our own sparkling water. And I usually just, for fun, add a little squirt of concentrated lime juice to mine as well. We drink a lot of water.
Yeah, and I like mine at room temperatures.
Which to me just kills the whole thing. He'll drink beer warm too.
Yeah, I know. So.
Other stuff. I can't stand that. Now there was something, was it you or something we were watching, and they said you should not drink cold beverages because it's a shock to your system?
Well, actually, I noticed, like, I work with a lot of ethnic people. I used to work with a lot of ethnic people. I worked with East Indians and Chinese, and what they used to always do is go to the water cooler and fill half their glass with cold water and the other half of the glass with hot water, so it would be warm when they were drinking it, or
Ew.
lukewarm. And it says that that's the way they grew up. That was just, they were used to drinking it at room temperature or warmer, so they said they don't like it cold. So
I don't know. I can't stand warm water. I have to have it in the fridge.
With me, I can drink it. I don't like it hot, but I like it at room temperature.
Yeah, Melliart says it's good for your skin, water. And yes, that's why I'm so soft and supple. Yeah. And I don't look a day over 21, and that's because of water. Yeah, okay. If you believe that, I have some swampland I'd like to sell you. And Kimberly also says, my mom likes room temperature water too. Actually, I knew, like, older people. My grandmother used to drink hot water. She would boil herself a cup of water and drink that. Didn't put a tea bag in it or put any coffee or anything in it. It was just hot water. Ugh. I couldn't see it, but whatever. Baz Joan, which is B, says, I drink hot water, but it has to hot or very cold. I guess you mean it has to be very hot. I'm not sure. I've lost it. Some say to drink at room temperature, she says, because it helps digest your food better, prevents fatty foods from congealing in your system. Well, that may be true. I don't know, but yeah, I'm still going to drink my cold water. Lots of ice. I feel like an American in England. They always ask, lots of ice, lots of ice. And the British will give you 1 cube if you're lucky. Actually, it's gotten better. That was back
Yeah.
when we first went, the very first time years ago, like 25 years ago or so, that we went to England.
And you used to not be able to get cold beer, which you can now. So
Yeah. Let's see. Meliart says, winter has started here in Finland. Okay. On Thursday, we got about 15 to 20 centimeters of snow. Ugh. Ick. I mean, yeah, we're Canadians. We're used to snow, but doesn't mean we have to like it. And I don't. I don't like it. It's pretty. The first snowfall, you know, that light snowfall where you go to bed at one night and everything is still brown because it's fall.
And then you wake up and it's nice and
it's nice
bright
and fluffy and
white.
And then you go out and you have to shovel the damn stuff, and that killed the whole fantasy there, didn't it?
Or drive through it.
Or drive through it. Yeah. So yeah,
which isn't too bad. It's driving through it isn't too bad. It's when we get freezing rain, it's bad.
Yeah, Meliart says, yes, it was like living in a Christmas card the first day. Yeah, but the novelty wears off.
But then after a few months and all the soot and everything from the cars hit it, and then you got brown snow.
I hate that. That just slush just is gross with it. BMC, I'm getting things mixed up here. That's B, I think, right? BMC 9605, I should write that down, is B, I think. This rain is bring down all the beautiful fall foliage. Yeah, it's taken all the leaves off the trees. Yep, that's true. But we haven't really, at least in our part of the country, we have not had the color this year.
No, it's been so warm in the fall and the leaves have started falling.
Okay.
And then now our tree outside is still beginning to it's just beginning to discard its leaves, but it's still green. So, which is kind of weird.
I'm just writing this down. BMC 9605 is Brenda. Okay, so that Baz Joan is B. Okay. Barb Owen does this all the time. She has a list of what people's names are that go with their codes, and she keeps that handy when she does her broadcasts. I think I'm going to have to do the same thing. Okay, so, yeah, so the fall has been the fall, whatever.
It's been a unique fall, I guess.
Yeah.
Because when we went to England, we went in the beginning of October, the 9th or whatever, and then we came back on the 18th. And I kind of expected the tree to be pretty much had most of its leaves gone.
Yeah.
But we got back and it was still green. So.
And it's still, well, the leaves have changed now a little bit in color, but it's still got lots of leaves on it.
Yeah.
So all those people that are in subdivision, because we have a lot of trees where we live, they're all out there madly raking the leaves up, and all of them have not come off the tree yet. So they're going to be out there again and doing it. I don't know. I figure if God put them there, God will take them away. So whatever.
Yeah, well, you don't rake them anyway.
No, that's what you're for. B says everything stops in the UK with a little bit of snow. Yeah, we were told that too in when we were in Sydney. What was that? Cab driver? Yeah. What did he say?
No. It was the guy that was serving us at the winery. He said,
"Oh, right.
What do you do when it snows?" And I said, basically, we shovel it or snow blow it. Well, we do. We have a snow blower. And he says, "But you can't drive in it, can you?" And I said, "Sure you can. We drive through it all the time. In fact, I've driven through a snowstorm to get to work. So, I mean, if a lot of snow falls, like a ton of it, then yeah, the city stops for a day or whatever until everything gets cut.
Oh, the schools don't. Oh no, the schools don't.
Schools don't close very readily when it's.
The only time I was lucky in my last school before I retired, that there were a lot of kids in our school that were bused to the school. And so because of insurance policies, as soon as it got a little bit icy north of the town that I was teaching in, the buses wouldn't run. And so those kids would stay home. But there was still school. And as teachers, no matter what, they never closed the schools. We have to get into school. It could be a blinding ice storm, and there were times that I had to drive through that. Remember that one year way back when we lived in the old house, we actually got snowed in.
We actually got so much snow that businesses closed that day, and that was like about 4 feet.
But the school was open, and teachers were expected to go into school, and we're trying to dig the car out. Finally, we could not physically get out of our subdivision because there was so much snow.
And that's rare.
That was very rare. And so they finally, the school board, bless its heart, decided that it would close the schools. That was at 11 or 11:30 in the morning. They made that decision. Guess it dawned on them that a lot of us couldn't get to work and the kids weren't coming. But
Yeah.
that was the.
And like we've had lots of days where it's been very rare where my business would close because of snow. And I work in Pickering, which is it's normally on a good day about a half-hour drive from here. But when there's no traffic. And if it snows, it may take me closer to an hour to get there. So, because you got to drive slower, you got to be more careful. If the roads haven't been plowed yet, then it's a little harder to get through it. But
Yeah.
we do it.
But anyways, that's life. It's nature. You can't do much about it. So let's move on from snow. And hey, that might be fun. Let's see. We have a snowfall, and we'll get our coats on. We'll go out on the deck, and we'll do a Stephen and Walter live while it snows.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
That might
like
be
a throw.
That might be interesting. I don't know. Let some of the people who don't see so, but yeah, we'll put that on the back burner for now. Okay, so another thing that was exciting and totally different from snow is we got Netflix. And when I say we, I mean Walter got Netflix. We've been talking about it.
And I thought, well, I wouldn't mind giving it a try, just see if it's worthwhile. I mean, supposedly the first month is free and you can cancel anytime. So, but so far it seems to be worthwhile.
Yeah. It's got, actually, I didn't realize how many shows are on there. And the thing is, I'm always looking for something a little different. And they've got some interesting things on there to watch. So, yeah, might be worth what are we paying?
It's $10.99, of course, plus tax.
Plus tax. So what comes out to about $12?
I don't know. I haven't been billed yet, so I have to check.
Okay, so maybe worth it. I'm just looking here at what people are writing. Meliart says, I just changed studded tires to my car. Snow is okay, but black ice is dangerous.
Yeah.
Yes, black ice is.
And all black ice, people don't know what black ice is. Black ice is, it's basically the road ice is over and it looks invisible. It doesn't look like there's any ice there. And then when you hit it, your car becomes uncontrollable.
You lose all control. There's nothing you can do. You just go for a spin and pray that you don't hit anything or anybody with that. Kimberly says, my sister lives in Chicago and she's from California like me. I don't know how she manages the snow. And Chicago gets a lot of snow.
Yeah, because we live just above the Lake Ontario where our snowfall is moderated. We get something called lake effect snow, which the air from the lake blows up and then it turns into snow and blows over to us. So we get some of that. But the cities that are below the lake get hit harder. And so a lot of the cities in the northern United States that border the lake, especially cities like Buffalo, that's near Niagara Falls, they get a ton of snowfall, whereas the cities above the lake don't get as much.
Yeah, so I always say that we live in the Florida of Canada because we're almost, not quite, but we're almost the most southern part of Canada. I think Windsor would be the most southern part, and it's on the border to the United States across from Detroit.
But actually, sometime during the winter, if we're doing one of these, it might be worthwhile if we have a lot of snow.
Show it.
Show what happens, because what happens is our driveways will pile the snow on either side of the driveway, and after a while it gets pretty tall. So
well, Meliart says that's a good idea. Do it. Yeah. So do that. So yeah, we'll show. We take it for granted, but
I know. Like there's a lot of people. Like when we went to Australia, I didn't really realize that a lot of people there really haven't seen snow. So
no.
And with us, we're just
we're just used to it. So what else is here? There's a retracted message.
What is really nice though is in the middle of January when it's really cold here, like January, February is our two coldest months. When it's really cold out and it's bright and sunny,
Yeah.
It's really, and it's not windy. I can actually can be a nice, pleasant day, even though it's cold.
You can actually get a suntan.
Yeah.
People who ski often on their faces because of the reflection of the sunlight on the snow and being out there, and you can actually get a sunburn
Yeah.
from it too. So we're back on snow again.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, so let's move back onto Netflix because Brenda says she has Netflix and it's great, and B says Netflix is great. We have Black Ice a lot in North Yorkshire too. So, oh, yeah, North Yorkshire, I guess they get it as well. So yeah, Netflix. It looks like there's some really interesting things, and there's a show. I think I was going to look today on Netflix to see if it's up there or not because it just started again. I think on the 27th is Stranger Things.
Yeah, they send me a message when something comes up new.
Oh, so did you get a message?
Yeah, it's there. I looked at it. It's there.
Oh, okay.
All the episodes are there.
I don't know if you've ever seen Stranger Things or not, the first season of it, but it's really good, but it's really weird. And what's her name? Winona Ryder?
Winona Ryder.
Yeah, she plays a lead in it, and she plays a nut job in it. And then there's Barb. Barb is this character, and there's a cult around Barb now about this. The show takes place in the 1980s, and it's with kids basically, and of course it looks like the 1980s. And Barb is this high school girl. She's tall. She's not really heavy, but she's not really thin. And she wears those knitted sweaters that are done up to her neck. You know, if you remember back into the 80s, that style, and her hair's got that 80s style. And she's a bit of a nerd to start with, but she actually dies. One of the creatures from the other dimension in this show, and you have to see the show to understand what I'm talking about, pulls her down into the pool and sort of drowns her. But there's been rumors talking that Barb may come back. So in the second season. So yeah, I want to see that. And there's lots of other things on there. Actually,
we're watching actually a Spanish series called Cable Girls. It's a little bit weird to watch it because it's dubbed in English, and so their mouths move and the words that come out look different. But it's actually not a bad series. It's kind of different.
Yeah. Well, let's see here. I'm just looking. Brenda says with Netflix you can binge watch shows, and that's what we do, and that's what this Cable Girls thing that we've done. Now we finished it, didn't it?
No, not yet.
Oh, we've still got a couple. And she says, of course, no commercials, which is nice, and a lot of documentaries. Yeah, I like documentaries, so I like that fact too. Kimberly says, I've heard of Stranger Things. I heard it's inspired by Stephen King. I don't know. It could be.
I'm not sure if it is or not.
I'm not sure if it is, although it is kind of his style.
It is, yeah.
So I don't know. I never thought about that. And Meliart says, I also have Netflix, but there's lots of really old movies. I like Viaplay more. Now that one I've never heard of, so that might be something over in Europe.
I know the different Netflix. We have Netflix Canada. And then there's Netflix USA, and they tend to gear the programming to each country a little better. Like they have some more Canadian content here, and they have a lot of British shows here. So, which Canada tends to have a lot more British shows, whereas in the United States, a lot of people get their VPNs upgraded so that they can get Netflix in the United States because they have a little bit more programming there. But then they lose out on getting the British content and the Canadian content. So we just have the Canadian version of Netflix. So,
but so far I'm kind of impressed with it. So
I mean, for
$12 a month, it's still cheaper than what we were paying at one point in time for satellite. Before we dropped it down to basic and then dropped down to, or not dropped down, but changed it all to 5 with it.
Well, not only that, since it's a separate payment, you can always, if you decide you don't like it, you can always get rid of it. So,
Brenda wants to know anything pissing Walter off this week. Actually, there is something that we're going to talk about. Let's hold that thought. We're coming to that. Okay. That one, which I was going to say for my vlog, but we can talk about that. But
that is one, yeah.
We'll come to that. We'll come to that. So hold tight, people. B says, watch Making a Murder, Making a Murder on Netflix.
Mm.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, well, we'll look for that one too. So what else are we watching? Well, on YouTube, I haven't been watching them in a while because they removed themselves from YouTube. But I don't know if you've ever heard of this musical group called the Piano Guys. The Piano Guys are from Utah. And there's basically, I think there's about 4 of them, but there's really 2 principal ones. One guy plays cello and the other guy plays piano. And they do mashups all the time of popular songs with older classical music and stuff like that. They're very entertaining. Their videos are very, very good. And they had them on YouTube for a long time. But lately, well, they took them off YouTube. They put them somewhere else and you had to pay to see them. Now suddenly they're making advertisements again and putting some of their videos back on YouTube. So I don't think the paid thing was happening. We went to their they came to Toronto and we went to their concert and it was pretty good, but
see, a lot of their videos are very manufactured and very they do a lot of smoke and mirrors and get the sound to be perfect. But when they did the concert, of course they can't do that on stage.
No.
And it was okay, but I don't think I'd go back to another concert.
No. The other thing that's a little spooky about them too, they are from Utah.
And they are Mormon.
And there was a very religious vibe about the whole thing.
There's sort of an intermission section. And during that, they sort of started talking about their family and all other stuff. And it was almost like it was a religious sermon of some sort.
Yeah, like they were a little preachy. Yeah.
And I'm not very religious, so it turns me off when somebody starts doing stuff like that.
Yeah, I didn't really need that in the price of my ticket.
No.
With it, so that was a little disconcerting. And the other thing I found a little not disconcerting, but a little weird. There was a guy sitting in front of me, and he had the scorebook for all of their music, and he was basically following the music. And I don't mean the lyrics. He was following the notes. So he obviously was somebody who...
Well, that's not unusual because I used to go to the Symphony in Toronto a long time ago before I met you, and with Alex, right?
So what are you saying?
No.
You don't go to the Symphony anymore because I don't want to go to the Symphony?
No, it was because... went with Alex. There's a guy I used to work with, and his son.
Oh, you went with Alex.
Yeah, no, him and his wife had season tickets, and his wife hated going. So, and I said, well, I wouldn't mind going. So I started going with him, and he didn't drive, so I was basically a chauffeur. So anyway, but he always got tickets in the cheap seats, and
I went with you once.
Yeah, and there was always a guy sitting there with the score of all the music that was being played, and he would follow it. So that's not unusual.
Well, I guess it's not unusual.
Somebody who's an avid music lover might,
Yeah. Okay, Brenda. Brenda has to go. She's got company. We'll watch the replay later. Catch now. Okay, bye, Brenda. We'll see you next week, possibly. Melanie Art says the best series is Outlander at the moment. My mother loves that show.
I think a lot of women like that.
Yeah.
Because...
Well, I read the first... It's based on a series of books.
Yeah.
I think. And my mother's read them all. I forget the name of the woman who wrote the books. I read the first one. It was interesting, but it's very historical romance novel, kind of, he's Outlander. He's, the kind of thing you'd probably see on the cover of a book that shows, the half-naked Fabio kind of guy holding her in his arms, that kind of stuff. I've never watched the program. I should actually, though.
Actually, it's on Netflix.
Yeah, I know. I should try it out.
Yeah.
And see what it's like. Yeah, so what's on it? The movies. Well, when we haven't been to the show lately, but on the plane, I saw Spider-Man, which I was holding off on it because Spider-Man is not one of my favorites in the superhero line. But actually, I watched the movie on the plane, and it was actually pretty good. It was sort of tongue-in-cheek, a lot of it, but it really showed, like, Peter Parker, the character that's Spider-Man, he's a teenager. He's
Mhm.
going to high school, and actually, it kind of I thought was maybe
Actually, it was made fairly well. I watched
yeah.
it as well. So
I don't know if I was thinking not that it's realistic because we don't have a Spider-Man, but
no.
I mean the kid. It was like, what would a teenager do who has this ability to do what Spider-Man can do? How would they handle that? And I think a kid would have a lot of fun with that, and he does. And I think it worked that way. Um, B says Spider-Man was good. Yep. And Melanie says she loves the idea of time traveling. Yeah, that's what appeals to me about Outlander. Any shows like that. I've always fascinated by anything that has, time travel. And one of the shows, he hasn't watched it, but they're in their second season right now. But I binged watched the first season, and it's called Travelers. And it's basically a show about people in the future who send back to the 21st century to save the world, basically, because the life that they live hundreds of years in the future is the earth has been basically wasted and they have a horrible life. So they come back to try and adjust things so humanity will not be wiped out or reduced to all of this. But they do it through their consciousness. They know when someone's going to die and they know the exact time. They transfer somehow the consciousness of the person in the future into this person as they die, and then they take on that person's identity. But whatever, it's kind of freaky, but it's really quite good. I really like it. So I've started watching the second season now, which is currently running on TV. So on Five, we have on demand and the PVR thing. So I've just set it up to get the episodes as they come up on the PVR, and then I watch them whenever. Unfortunately, I have to fast forward through the commercials when I do that. But anyways, Meliard says, "Where would you travel if it would be possible, and why?"
Hmm.
I'd go into the future, like a couple of 100 years. I'd also though go into the past. But I wouldn't go back to the deep dark past. I'd like to go back to the past and meet my great grandparents when they were much younger.
Hmm.
Because by the time I came to the, what do they call it, self-awareness in life, my great grandparents were pretty much dead, except for one. My great grandmother, my mother's grandmother, she was still alive, but she died in 1966. So I was 9 years old when she died. The only thing I remember really about her was that she was really old. She lived with my grandmother, her daughter. She was looking after her. And the woman was a master at playing that game high Q. With the pegs, and you jump them over. And the idea is to try to get the last one in the center hole. She could do that. She knew how to do it. She taught me how to do it. But do you think I remember? No. That's about all I remember about her.
Yeah, my parents immigrated from Holland, so I never saw my grandparents very much.
So it would be kind of neat if you could go back in the past and meet those kind of people. Evie's here. She says, "Hello, Stephen Walter. Hello, everybody in the chat room. Hello, Evie." And yeah, so that, and I saw this other really weird. Did you watch that one, Lady Macbeth?
Yeah, I watched that. Yeah, that was a little
it
weird.
was strange. It's very dark.
Yeah.
They call it Lady Macbeth, although it doesn't really have anything to do with the play Macbeth,
No.
except that she is in an abusive relationship, Victorian times, and she kills her father-in-law. She kills her husband. But she gets another guy that she's basically screwing around with,
Having an affair with
to do her dirty work. And at the end, he gets hauled off to be hanged for the murders, and she gets off scot-free. But it's very dark, but it's interesting. Okay, so that's what we've been watching. Anything else we've been watching?
Not really.
No. Okay, so want to talk about what's pissing you off?
Yeah, well,
Where do you start?
I go to, when you go shopping here the last few years, or you go to a liquor store or something like that, we have separate liquor stores here. You get asked at the cash register, would you like to donate $1 to a charity?
They're also provincially run liquor stores. They're government run.
They're government, our liquor stores are government run. So a lot of times it's United Way or it's Sick Kids Hospital or something. You want to donate $1 or $2 or something. Well, I went recently and they asked me to donate money to the California wildfires. I thought to myself, well, that's strange because that's sort of not a Canadian charity. And I personally don't really want to give to a non Canadian charity unless it's like, there were ones where they were helping, people that were in Haiti or something like that, or poor nations or something, help recover. But America is not really a poor nation. So,
Yeah, it's not a third world country.
and I just
Well,
rubbed me the wrong way.
and we just had a whole bunch of forest fires in BC.
Yeah, so
this
we
summer.
should be supporting BC wildfires.
Why was not a provincially run institution asking for money for BC fire relief
Instead of
for California? This I didn't understand. I mean, I feel sorry for those people in California. I really do.
Yeah.
But
we only have 33 million people in Canada. There's 330
30 million in the
United States.
I mean, the population of California alone, I think, is almost the same population as our entire country.
Right.
So I don't understand what our government, this is not the fault of Americans or anything like that. This is the fault of our provincial government for this. Now, the only thing I can think of is that there's something underneath that's being run by corporations, because Trump just turned around and said that he was going to charge an exorbitant amount of tariff on any soft lumber that came from Canada, because in his philosophy, Canada was underselling American providers of soft lumber because our government was giving a lot of subsidies to our lumber industry. So maybe they're thinking, well, okay, we'll soften it. We're giving money to help out California. California has a lot of trees. A lot of those trees are now burnt up and everything. They're going to need soft lumber. Maybe, we can make a deal. Because it just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't remember a time walking into any store that's looking for donations for something that were so specific for something in the United States. Yeah, like you said, famine, like Feed the Children, Habitat for Humanity, whatever, for, AIDS funding, things like that over in Africa and things like that. But I have never, ever saw an appeal by a Canadian institution for money for the United States. And I'm just wondering, do California liquor places or what, were they asking for a donation for the BC fires? I don't think they would be. And I don't hold that against them, because to me, that's just logical. Why would you? I don't know. But that's kind of what...
Actually, what else ticks me off? There's another thing that ticks me off.
Oh, get me on a roll now.
Oh, no, I think you brought it up last time, and that was the parking lot spaces. For
yeah. I did a whole rant on that.
Yeah,
I did a whole thing on my last blog.
Okay, well, anyway, what annoys me, they have parking for pregnant ladies. They have parking for
mother with children.
They have invalid parking.
Yeah,
it was wheelchair parking, handicap parking. But I think they really should have parking for seniors. Not that I would use it, but I'm thinking people that have difficulty walking.
Yeah.
That need to park closer to a building. But they don't seem to have any of those.
Nope.
Which really annoys me.
And as I said in my vlog last week, you see these able-bodied people getting out of a 4x4 that are parked in the wheelchair parking spot. And I'm thinking, wait, I don't see a sticker. And why are you parking there? And some of them are older people, but you can walk. You're not using any kind of assistance. So why? Why are you doing that?
That's the thing. I don't know. I still have to think about what else pisses me off. There are things that piss me off. But.
Yeah, like Meliart says, I agree. And Kimberly says, sounds fishy to me too. Going back to the California thing. Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, this is sort of a little bit of a foreshadowing of what I'm going to be talking about and what's pissing me off this week in Monday's vlog. So I have some other things, and I don't want to talk about them now because that'll take away from what I'm going to do with that. But anyways. So anything else pissing you off?
No, no.
Don't say me. Oh, wow, look at that. Innocent face right there. You never piss me off much. Okay, never mind. All right, so where are we going from there? So what did we do this weekend? Already kind of highlighted that, but we go into a little bit more detail. So on Friday night, we went to a Halloween man's dance. And I mentioned this, I think, last live that we were going to this. And this is a group that it's of course, it's gay men at this. It's a man's dance. Women are allowed with that. And so there's one guy who's trying to put these together on a regular basis. Sort of a lot of old men there. Like
we're on the younger end of the scale.
yeah, I get really worried if someone comes in a wheelchair or with a walker. And of course, it was Halloween dance, so we did not dress up. I don't much like dressing up.
We did when we were younger, but
and we did actually really well. Years ago, these kind of dances back in the 80s were popular, and we used to go to them, and they always have a Halloween one. And we won. We should have won 3 years in a row, but the first year we won as Mickey and Minnie Mouse. And I jokingly said to Walter at the time, well, if we're going to go as that, I said, he was going to make me my dress. I said, I want an empire waist and cap sleeves. I have no idea.
I had no idea what that was.
I had no idea what I was talking about either, but I just said as a joke, well, I think you actually did give me an empire. Well, I don't think it's an empire waist. I think an empire waist is way up here or something. I don't know. But you did give me cap sleeves. Actually, it was a cute little dress. I've worn that over the years when I can get into it. I was skinnier in those days. And that year, we should have won the prize, but they didn't have a category for couples, which was really weird because he was Mickey and I was Minnie. And then the year after that, we took those costumes and changed them into, we called the Juicy Fruit twins. Remember the gum Juicy Fruit? I don't know if they have.
Yeah, they still
have Juicy Fruit, and they used to have commercials on TV for Juicy Fruit, and they always did it they did it with twins or something kind of a thing, advertising. So he made another one of those dresses.
I don't know why where the other one is.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Oh well.
That one would, because if that fit you then, it might fit me now. But anyway, so we went as the Juicy Fruit twins, and we were handing out. We had little baskets that Walter had lined with the same gingham material that he'd used in the dresses to match. We had little bows on our shoes and everything. Everything was coordinated. It was very pink, and these wigs and whatnot. And we were handing out. You know those chocolate coins?
No, that was the year after the chocolate coins.
Oh, that's right.
We did Juicy Fruit.
We actually handed out Juicy Fruit. That's right.
The year after, we went as Twisted Sisters.
Yeah, well, we won first prize that year. And then the next year, we went as the Twisted Sisters. And I don't mean the musical group. We had the same outfits, but we had fake leather skirts, mini skirts, and mesh nylons. And I forget what we had.
Cone tits.
And we had cone.
Because that's what Madonna came out with that song, and she had.
Don't say tits, breasts. Breasts.
She had cone breasts.
Yeah, and we had these blonde wigs, and we had like a little cone on her head, and the hair coming out of the top of it.
Yeah.
And we had baskets again, but this time we were handing out those little chocolate coins that looked like they're wrapped in the gold paper. People thought we were handing out condoms with it. We said, no, we can't afford to hand out condoms. That costs too much. Have some chocolate. And we won first prize that year. That was the year we stopped.
Yeah.
We thought.
I got tired of making costumes. But
it was
probably
sort of fun.
Dressed up this time.
Yeah, we probably should have. There was an awful lot. There must have been a sale on or something because there was a whole lot of different ones wearing jailbird stuff. The black and white stripe outfits. There's a whole bunch of those, and then there was a whole bunch that did the Roman theme, Caesar and that.
Yeah.
There was a couple of popes.
Yeah.
But the best I thought were those two guys that were dressed up in the inflatable suit that they came out and they had like little pink bras were in them and little pink panties and they had these blonde wigs. Those were hilarious. And apparently there was batteries involved because they had a little fan.
Yeah, they had a little fan to keep them blowed up, like just sort of like the lawn ornaments.
Blowed up real good.
Yeah.
Blown up.
Yeah.
Blown up.
Oh.
But yeah, that was kind of fun. So that dance was kind of fun. So Meliart says, oh, let's back up here. B says, in the UK, the blue badge system covers elderly people who have trouble walking, etc. Okay, well, we have something similar for that.
But actually, technically, they're not supposed to hand them out. The doctors aren't supposed to hand them out for if people have, well, yeah, it's trouble walking or yeah, they do that. If you're just old, they won't give them to you.
And Melly says, what is the blue badge system? But you just sort of explained that.
Yeah, it's here. It's a sticker or something that they put on their car, and it has a wheelchair on it, and it's blue. So.
And Melly also wants to know, do you have any photos of you wearing those costumes? Would be nice to see somewhere, but I don't know where they are now.
Yeah, well, they were the old days before digital. So.
Yeah, so those are probably in a box somewhere. If I come across,
I have a few of you in the mini. Somewhere.
Do you have the one of when I went to school in it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that was a fun day. I wore the mini at my last high school when I was working there. Of course, Halloween was big. Kids would all get dressed up, and so the staff would too. And so that year I decided to dress up in the Minnie Mouse outfit again. Had to do a few little alterations for it to fit into it. But the vice principal, first thing in the morning, wanted to talk to me about something in her office. So I went in the office, sat down, crossed my legs, and the skirt's kind of short, and I'm wearing nylons, and I've got these big heels on.
And you usually wear a pair of shorts or something.
Yeah, I wore shorts underneath it. Yeah, because it was kind of.
It's pretty short.
Yeah, it wasn't. No, not that kind of school. And she forgot what it was she wanted to discuss with me. She says, I can't talk to you when you're dressed like that. And I went, oh, don't you love my shoes? And she's a real shoe
and the ears. My sister made a Minnie Mouse costume for my niece and nephew when she's a sewer, and it's a big furry hat with huge ears on it, right? And she gave them to me, but see, they were actually an adult costume, but that she did, and she had stuffed extra stuffing in it to fit kids' heads. So I just took the stuffing out to fit an adult head. So.
Yeah, if I can find that picture, one of those pictures anyways, I think you may have it on your computer.
Yeah, I do have it somewhere.
We'll get it out and we'll show it to you.
Yeah.
So you can see. It was fun. Okay, so yeah, that was Man's Dance. There, like I said, it was kind of the old and the dying that are at it. It was kind of fun. They play music from the 80s and the 90s. Actually, they played some 70s stuff too. Like after a while, that gets a little annoying. But and they have door prizes. Walter won the 50-50 draw.
Yeah, they do a fundraiser because to cover the cost of the dance and stuff. So they do it as a 50-50 draw. So I bought some tickets and I won the pot of $140. So
yeah, I didn't see my share.
Yeah, well, too bad.
Whatever. I didn't buy any because I know I was going to lose.
Well, actually, probably good that he didn't buy any because usually we don't win that.
No, I know. That's what I thought of, and I knew you'd think that because he wins door prizes all the time.
Well, though, all the years I worked at Impact, which is for 30 years, right? I would buy every 50-50 draw. I would put money in all kinds of other draws, and not once did I win anything. Yeah,
well. I know, but I'm just looking here at what people are saying. Meliar says you should do art journal page about those costumes. That's an idea. I don't know if I think I've got a scrapbooking page. Yes, I did a scrapbooking page when I did it at school. So I have those pages. And I always digitize those pages too. So I have to look for that. And we've got somebody new here. Good morning from Adelaide, South Australia, from Neri, is that how, if I'm saying it right, your name is, I don't know how to say this, is Nagiri Ashdown? I probably butchered that so badly. I'm sorry about it. Well, anyways, you weren't here when we mentioned it before, but we're going to be in Adelaide. We're going to be in Adelaide in February, actually, on our trip over to Australia. So if you have any advice about what we should see while we're in Adelaide, I think we're spending, a week?
Yeah, no, 5 days in Adelaide.
5 days in Adelaide. If there's anything that you can suggest that's a must-see or whatever, or do, or places to eat or what like that, just send them along. Just put them in the comments below this when this goes back for rebroadcast on YouTube because I'd love to see any suggestions that you may have with that. Okay, so what else did we? Okay, so then last night we went to a good friend of mine. She's a lady that I crop with. Haven't done in a while. There's four of us that used to get together on a regular basis. We all met at various times at a scrapbooking store that doesn't exist in our area anymore that used to do Saturday crops once a month. And we used to go to that, and this is how we all met. And then we've done our own little get-togethers and crops over the years at our own houses, and we've gone to things like what they call Scrap Fest, which is a thing that happens.
Crop Fest.
Yeah, you call it Crop Fest or Crap Fest. Yeah, Scrap Fest. He doesn't go. And everything. But anyways, Cheryl, her children were throwing her a 50th birthday party, and we got invited. Actually, we got the invitation when we were in London for it. So we were there last night for that. And her husband is Italian background, and so she has a huge extended family, and they were all there. And of course,
she also has a huge house.
Oh yeah, she's got like a 4,000 square foot bungalow. It's huge. It's great for parties because it's very open concept from her kitchen and the eating area of the kitchen and the living room. So it's kind of conducive to parties. They had lots of food. It was kind of an interesting selection of food. They had steak sandwiches. Like they were cold steak sandwiches, and I thought they might be a little tough, but they weren't. They were actually quite tender. And then they had a sort of a make your own nachos area set up. So they had like cheese and refried beans and chili in one of those trays, heating tray kind of things, 3 sections, and you sort of took a handful of nachos, threw them on your plate, and put this other stuff on it, and they had some guacamole and something else off to the side. They had pizza cut up. They had salads and stuff. It was quite an interesting collection of food, and it was sort of a semi-surprise for her. Couldn't keep it too much of a surprise. I guess some people were arriving when they were leaving at one point or something.
Yeah.
However, but it was kind of fun with that. And I made her, as a joke, this is something, it's not an original idea to me. It was something Walter got
at my 50th birthday.
At your 50th birthday that another friend of ours had made for him. And what it is you get a bucket from the dollar store and you put an oasis in it, that stuff that you stick flowers and things in, and you get 50 suckers, and you stick them all into this, make a bouquet of suckers, and there's a sign over the top that put it says 50 sucks. So
I can do 60 sucks or 70 sucks or
yeah, whatever. Yeah. So I made that for her. We also got her a gift certificate from our local, Class Act, where you've heard me talk about Class Act. That's our scrapbooking store here where we live. So anyways, that seemed like it was fun. It was a lot of fun out there. We didn't get, we were the last to leave. Suddenly it was like the
mass exodus.
The stroke of 11 came and they were gone. Mm-hmm. All these people, suddenly I looked around, where's everybody? But anyways, actually we should have done this last night when we came home, except it would have been midnight. But by then we'd already had enough to drink that who cares? Let's see. So that was what we were up to, and that's why you're getting this today on Sunday afternoon. So what's coming up? Halloween. Bah, humbug.
I don't like Halloween.
I liked it when I was a kid. I don't really care about it much now. Now I did my doors. I decorated them because we're shamed into it in this neighborhood. People in this neighborhood go hog wild here. I mean, down the street, we've got these huge blow up plastic things. They're huge, of like a Halloween cat and pumpkin, and they've got ghosts hanging out of their trees. I mean, it's actually quite spectacular, and lighting and the whole bit. It's more spectacular than some people's Christmas displays and that. But, so we're kind of like, what do you call it? Peer pressured into doing some decoration. So I got the doors decorated. We bought a new pumpkin this year. I haven't had a real pumpkin in...
Yeah,
because I can't stand carving a pumpkin. It's messy. I'm not really good at it. Now, who's good at it is
My niece.
niece and nephew.
Yeah, they got really heavy duty into it, and they do all these like fancy designs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know how they
I
do
just
it,
don't.
but it's like
To me, it's a mess.
they're a work of art. But
Yeah.
although I do like roasted pumpkin seeds, but they're a bitch to clean
Mm.
before you can roast them and the whole bit. So it's not really worth the effort. So we had a new pumpkin. For years, we were using a plastic pumpkin,
That we bought at Woco,
which doesn't exist.
which doesn't exist. Woco was bought out by Walmart
Yeah.
probably
Oh,
how many years ago?
25, 30?
years ago, I think.
125.
Yeah, more like 30 years. No, yeah, more like 30 years ago.
Woco, it did exist when we lived in the old house.
Yeah, it did. So that was 1987. So that was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So it was probably around 25, 26 years ago when the Woco disappeared.
Yeah.
And so that pumpkin is at least 30 years old.
Yeah, it still works, but it's a smaller one. But we were at Costco a couple of months ago, and they already had the Halloween stuff out, of course. So there was this big pumpkin that has a motion detector in it, takes batteries, and it lights up and it makes spooky sounds. So we're going to put that out this year. But I think I'm still going to use the little pumpkin too.
Yeah, probably.
It's nostalgia. Yeah, I've had that pumpkin for a long time.
And then we get a couple of projectors and put it up against the windows at the front.
What? Oh, yeah. Last year we projected. I've got one of those, a projector, for doing presentations. And we have another smaller one as well. And I just took them up to the computer and I found these things on YouTube that are like continuous loops of scary pictures and with sound effects. And we project them on our blinds at the front of the house. Now, this year we might try.
I think we should put like paper or
Well, I've got that
sheet.
muslin. I've got that muslin downstairs that would work.
Because the blinds are not, it didn't come through that well.
As well. Oh, it didn't look bad, I didn't think.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, we can try that. But also I use a Bluetooth speaker, a little tiny one, it's about this big, and I put it outside, and it picks up the sound, so it's kind of outside as well. I just got done saying that we don't do decorations, we don't do Halloween, and then this sounds like we do Halloween. Well, I always like.
We don't get very many kids. Last year we didn't get very many kids.
No, and no, because we don't have a lot of kids in this neighborhood.
No, a lot of adults here.
Yep, of course that means there'll be candy left over. Yeah, candy. We used to buy. Well, I'd get it early, and you always had to buy more than you were going to give out because if you buy it early, usually one box kind of gets opened and suddenly it's gone. So we've been good. We only bought one box, and it's still. You haven't opened it, have you?
No.
Oh, good.
But I did buy a few extra things.
Oh yeah, of course. Did you buy chippies?
No, I bought those Maynard jelly things. I only bought a small box.
Oh, yeah. We'll only give those to the kids we like.
Well, got to get the ones that come around. We got that have peanut allergies or something.
Oh, right. Well, tough nuts for them. But that's like you said to one of the women you used to work with. Remember have to rush home, or are you ready for Halloween or something?
Oh no, I had a woman that I used to work with. She was Taiwanese, and she would take everything literally that you said. So she was like bugging me about she dressed her kids in the weirdest costume. She dressed them one year as tomatoes. And we all laughed at her and said, why in the world? Why would you dress your poor kids as tomatoes? But anyway.
Hoping they'd run out in front of a car and get squished? I don't know.
So anyway, so she would seriously ask me one time, she says, are you all ready for Halloween? And I said, well, we've got the apples, but I still have to go out and get the razor blades. She took me serious. She goes, well, what?
I used to at school take in Halloween candy for the kids, and I taught high school, and so I'd make them do things for it. I'd say, okay. I put it up just before the class was over. I'd put this big box of candy on my desk, and I go, okay, whoever sits up the straightest with their hands neatly folded in front of them gets the candy. And believe me, and I was talking like 17-year-olds and 16-year-olds, and you could make them do anything for candy, and I would, because I'm just a sadistic bugger when it comes to that. That was the way. I want a candy, do a trick, yeah, trick or treat. Yeah. So I mean, when I was a kid, I loved Halloween because who didn't? But then you get home, right? And my parents always said the golden rule was you are not to eat anything until you come home with it and we go through it for safeguards. And you know that whole thing with the razor blades and things in the apples, they say that that's almost an old wives' tale. That there, I have heard some reports that say there has never been a kid that has ever been harmed with by the apple razor blade thing. That's an old wives' tale or whatever. But my parents weren't taking any chances, so they would dump all our candy out in the kitchen table, and they would go through it, and they would decide, okay, you're not eating that. That's garbage. They'd save the little chocolate bars out.
Yeah, they'd probably take all the good stuff and eat it.
Well, that's the other thing that they did. They would take the rotten. We were never allowed to have those rockets. Remember those fruity candy?
I was allowed to have those.
I love those. And
my mom didn't like. They used to have pumpkin flavored candies that were I forget
what, Kisses?
Yeah, Kisses or Halloween Kisses.
Yeah.
They didn't like those, so they took them out of my bag. I wasn't allowed to eat them.
See, I love those, but
I
those
didn't
were,
mind them.
Those were filling pullers.
Yeah, they
with
were.
them.
Yeah,
they're not really pumpkin flavored. They're a kind of a taffy. It's
well, my mom didn't
crap,
like
but...
them, so she pulled them.
Well,
and
my parents.
I said, "Well, why can't I have them? I don't mind them."
My parents would take all the crappy stuff, and if they were running low on candy, they'd give it back out to the kids. Yeah. But the one thing that we were never allowed, like there would be some people who would make stuff like fudge or candied apples or caramel apples. Those my parents would throw that stuff out.
There was a lady that lived around close to the school. And she would make taffy and sell it, right? So we used to, when we were little kids, used to go and buy taffy from her. And it was like she only charged us a nickel or something. Of course, in those days, a nickel was a lot.
What, you mean taffy like fair taffy? You know, the stuff.
It was like hard, sort of like the stuff that comes on the side of a candy apple, right?
Oh, okay.
But it was like a big chunk that she'd sell it, and it was really good. Okay. We used to go and buy it from her all the time. And then at Halloween, she would give them out.
Oh.
So, like, we always made a beeline for her place because she always had the stuff. So, like, there's something that people don't do that anymore because people rifle through their kids' stuff and anything that's homemade gets thrown out.
And apples. Some people used to give out apples. My parents would always take those out and get rid of them because they were, you know, there could be pins in there, there could be poison in there, there could be razors in them, that kind of stuff. You know, now I have heard of other people that'll take them out and they'll like cook them, like make them into applesauce or something like that, or check it out that way. But no, they wouldn't let us eat that. But my brother, he was the biggest hoarder of, and I said hoarder, of Halloween candy. He had Halloween candy all the way up to Easter from it, and he'd hide it. But the thing was, my sister would find where he hid it, and she would steal little bits of it all the time. And at one time, when my brother went to his little hoarding spot, he was really PO'd because it was gone. My sister had stolen and eaten it all.
Well, there's a guy I used to work with that used to hand out Smarties.
One at a time?
No, Smarties. Smarties are sort of like M&Ms. They're a Canadian version of M&Ms. And he used to empty the boxes and give the kids empty boxes.
Oh, that's kind of good. Well, there was a guy in the subdivision I grew up in. What was his name? Old Jack, we used to call him. And he used to he'd reach into his pocket when you came to and bring his hand back out of his pocket, but he'd keep his fist closed and he'd stick it way down in your bag and he didn't give out anything. He didn't have anything. He just would do that. Actually, it was kind of a sad case because actually the man couldn't afford.
Yeah,
that was really why he did that. So now when I think about it, that's kind of a sad story. But we used to laugh about that because we knew what he was doing, but we went there anyways with it. But I don't know, now with Halloween and we don't get that many kids, so we're sitting down by our front door and we have like stairs because we live in a raised bungalow. We saw that in one of the vlogs we did a little tour. And so you're sitting there waiting. I'm usually sitting there with a glass of wine, but the ones that get me are the ones who bring the tiny little kids. Like they're 18 months or less. And yeah, they got them in a little bunny outfit. They're real cute and this kind of thing. That kid doesn't have any teeth. It can't eat candy at that age. So who's getting the candy? I wonder. Mommy and daddy, you're making an excuse to do that, to get the candy. And you know, I don't know your kid. I don't think it's cute. Really. Here, give it this. See if it chokes. Yeah, no, I wouldn't really do that. But anyways, that's Halloween and another year and it'll be over with. So let's see, what do we got here? Melly Art says, thank you, Stephen, about telling about Emily Carr some weeks ago. I was looking her art online and reading about her career, and really I like her art and style. Yeah, I love Emily Carr. Emily Carr was also a writer as well. She was a poet too. But she is a very interesting character, and as I said back in that video, changing topic now away from Halloween, she really should have been a member of the group of seven because she was just as good. It was just unfortunate that she happened to be a female. And in those days, they didn't take women in art seriously. Art Without Your Heart Out. Just saw you guys were on joining late. Okay. Better late than never with that. So what else? Anything, any questions? Anybody got any thoughts? Anything you want us to reveal, talk about, whatever? I can't think of anything else this week that we did. I mean, the man dance, Cheryl's party. Walter's still trying to get adjusted to being
Gotta
retarded.
fix the snowblower this week.
Oh, you flip. Oh, well, good timing with that. You know what you should have done this week too? Pulled out the Christmas lights. Because you know what you'll do. You'll put the, well, we're only putting up the wreaths anyways, aren't we?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, Christmas bah humbug. That's another one that I'm. And this year, we have successfully not been home for Christmas in about 4 years. And this year,
We're home.
we're home. Damn. I don't like Christmas, but we'll save that for a future when we get closer to the time and we'll discuss that then. We don't get many kids knocking on our door at Halloween. This is, I'm still not sure how to say your name. Nagir? You want to take a try? Ngaire.
Mhm.
I don't know. Sorry, I'm mispronouncing it. But we don't get many kids knocking on our door at Halloween. Not a big celebration in Australia. I do have wrapped chocolate or lollies ready and only give them out to kids if they dress up. Oh, okay. I remember a woman when I was a kid in a small town I lived in many, like 50 years ago. She made us, we had to do a trick before she'd give us a treat. We'd have to sing a little song or we'd have to do something. She was a school teacher. She was an elementary school teacher at the time. I think she may have been retired then. I'm talking, this is back like in 1966, 67, something like that. And so she gave out good stuff. So you'd pretty much do anything she wanted you to do to get it. Art Out With Your Heart Out. What are you drinking today? Yep, water. Sparkling water. Mine has lime juice in it a little bit. Yep. We're on the wagon. Well, not really. It's just that it's
Sunday afternoon.
Sunday afternoon. We're not luscious. I mean, if it was after 6 o'clock, maybe. Whatever. It's pronounced Nayri. Nayri. Okay, that's great. Thank you. Don't want to be calling you something you're not called. So I can't think of anything much more to talk about. Let's see. Oh, Beandy 100. Hi for Debbie. Sorry, I'm later. Art Out says, laugh out loud. Good to stay hydrated. Yep. And Meliar says, we don't celebrate Halloween here either, but each year there are more and more Halloween stuff for sale. Here kids are knocking on doors, similar as trick or treat at Easter time. You know, basically Halloween got started it was All Hallows Eve, and that was something totally different from what Halloween is today.
Mhm.
And I swear that Halloween was actually an invention of the candy companies because they make their most money at this time of the year
Mhm.
selling all that stuff. It's like greeting cards, like Mother's Day, Father's Day, all those things are invented occasions that were created by the card companies to sell more cards with it. And then I don't know, some people actually make and give Halloween cards.
Mhm.
I don't think it's that popular, but I do know some people, they come into the scrapbooking store and they're buying stuff to make Halloween cards with, and I see it on YouTube as well. Um, well, whatever floats your boat. Yeah, so I don't see anything else. So I guess, so what are we doing for Din Dins?
I don't know.
What do you feel like?
I don't know.
This is always this question. I always say to him, so what do you want for dinner? I don't know. What do you feel like? I don't know. I go, I don't know. Yeah. And usually when I ask, we've just had lunch. He goes, well, I'm not hungry right now. Okay, fine. I don't know. I was thinking, well, and then my other question is, are we eating in or are we eating out? And the answer to that
Sundays
is
off and eating out day, but
well, we haven't been to the courtyard in a while.
yeah, well, I could do that.
And of course, you know what I'm having if we're going. But there's a pub kind of place not far from us that we like to go to, and we often go on a Sunday night. And they have a curry. They call it the Courtyard Curry, and it's really good. And I really like it. And that's principally what I have every time I go there.
And I sometimes get it, but I have to know that I'm not doing anything next day because it upsets my stomach a little bit. So
Yeah, well, and then I always say to them, so you're sure you're going to order this? And they warn you when you order it that it will be hot. That's what I like about it. And it can be quite spicy, but I love it. And so when then the girl who works at the bar there, she knows us all the time. She's fun. She's Asian.
she's Asian but North American born.
Yeah,
I think.
and that
So she
meant-
doesn't have an accent.
No.
So
She's a bit of a scream and a half. And oh, make sure I take a coupon because they
Yeah.
have these coupon books that we buy all the time, and with it, it's a good deal. Actually, they expired in April, but she still honors it. So,
yeah, buy one get one free.
yeah. And let's see. Oh, B says Mother's Day in the UK has been around since the Middle Ages. Well, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Huh. That's kind of interesting. I was pretty sure it was just a created thing by the card
I'm
companies.
gonna look it
but-
up.
Yeah, I have to look that one up. That's interesting. And Art Out says, I'm grilling some burgers since it's nice outside. Art Out, where are you? Where do you live? Melly Art says, those antique Mother Day cards are really beautiful. That's true. If you look at Victorian stuff, I hadn't thought about that. They used to make handmade cards, and there are ones from Mother's Day. So I was definitely wrong on that. She's in Art Out is in Colorado.
Yeah, well, okay, of course, it probably is nice.
Yeah, at that.
It's rainy and chilly here.
Now here's something else I'm learning here. B says it relates to Mother's Church, not Mother's. Relates to Mother's Church, not Mother's.
Mother's his house, so there's a church.
So something to do with like.
Mm.
I remember as a kid on Mother's Day, you would wear a flower to church, and you would wear a colored flower in your lapel if your mother was still alive, and if she had passed away, you wore a white flower. And you did the same thing on Father's Day too. I don't know if people still do that tradition or not, because I haven't darkened the doors of a church in quite a long time. And Art Out says, though, snow tomorrow in Colorado. The Mother Church. Oh, okay.
Snow in Colorado?
Yeah.
Oh.
It says snow tomorrow. So.
Yeah, I suppose.
And B says, worth reading about I'll have to look it up. Sally Ann O'Connell just joined us. Hi, Sally Ann. I don't think I've ever seen you on one of the live ones. Anyways, for Halloween. I think that's referring back to the snow. And she says, hey. Sally Ann says, hey to you, Sally Ann. Yeah, I remember some years when you'd have snow for Halloween.
Usually rains.
Yeah. I think, though, they're predicting the weather's supposed to be half decent on Tuesday night for Halloween this year. Always like it when it's a little nicer because there's not actually the worst. Snow isn't so bad on Halloween in terms of Halloween night. What's bad is if it's raining, it's cold and dank because then all you got are all these wilted kids,
Wet kids.
wet kids, and the whole bit. And yeah, and I feel sorry for those kids, but of course they're getting candy, so they probably don't care. Meliart says it's like Christmas nowadays, religious, but originally it was a pagan celebration. Oh, that's Mother's Day, or you mean Halloween? Probably Halloween. Yeah, I know. It was All Hallows Eve or something.
It's 9 degrees today.
What here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's 10 on Monday, and on Tuesday it's 8, but it's cloudy, partially sunny.
Neri says it's spring here, but cold this morning, heading for a top of 18 degrees C. Now, Neri, would you consider 18 degrees C chilly or relatively warm? The reason I ask that is because I watch a YouTube video from a girl that lives outside of Sydney. It's called Inky Quill, and she was talking about it being cold at 15 degrees C, and we say 15 degrees C, that's balmy weather for us. That's warm.
18 is actually nice.
18 is nice, yeah, for us, and then that's.
I mean, that's not even coat weather.
Yeah. Art Out says, oh no, Melly Art says she meant Christmas. It's original. Okay, I get that now. Art Out says, our weather is schizophrenic. Last week, 85 degrees Fahrenheit one day, 4 inches of snow the next day, 73 Fahrenheit today, and snow predicted tomorrow. Yeah, that's Colorado, because I know because of the way Colorado is situated. I know they have like extremes in their weather. Meliart says here it should be about -8 to -10 C at nights next week. So that's chilly.
Yeah, we're not minus yet.
Yeah, we're not into minus yet.
And we're Canada.
Yeah, well, Meliart though is Finland.
Oh, Finland. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's that. Well, they're even north of.
Yeah, so that I can see that.
We're averaging 10 or 11, 14 one day during the day, and then 4, 3, 7 at night.
Yeah, well. So Sally Ann says there's not much snow here, and Sally Ann, I don't believe I asked you this. Where are you from? Yeah, I don't think that was mentioned in here. I have to go back. Oops. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay. There we are. Yeah, well, maybe we'll have a light winter.
Sometimes we have some winters where we get very little snow, and then we have other winters where we get like a ton of it.
Yeah, so whatever. So we both are getting over our colds now. Oh, and we have to go next Tuesday. We have to run off and get our annual flu shot. I don't know if people get flu shots in other countries or not, but here in Ontario, we get, the government started this back about 10 years ago or so, and there's a lot of controversy about them. I know people who won't get a flu shot because they say it'll give you the flu. I go, basic biology. It's a dead virus they put in you to create this immunity in it, immunization for it, so you can't get the flu from a dead virus. And the people who are telling me this are teachers. And they are the worst people. Teachers and nurses are the worst people about getting flu shots. I get a flu shot every year because we were really, really sick with the flu back.
Well, more than 10 years ago.
More than 10 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, it was really bad. I was off work for an entire week.
I was off too. And we were in separate bedrooms because we needed to be near bathrooms, and we have several bathrooms in our house. Because it was coming out from every orifice. It's kind of gross. But I mean, you were throwing up and diarrhea and the whole bit, to the point where we had to fashion diapers. And every now and then we'd come into consciousness again, and I would yell out from one room, "Are you still alive?" "I think so." Oh, that was horrible. And ever since
then, we've been getting flu shot because I don't want that to happen.
Yep.
If I want to do everything possible to prevent that.
Yeah, never want to have that like that again. I mean, I had the flu when I was a kid a few times, but this was the worst. I mean,
That was awful.
I really thought I was going to die. It was so bad. So I always get it. But the other reason I always got it too is I worked with kids. Those kids, this time of the year especially, they're bringing every bloody disease known to man into the classroom. These kids are sicker than dogs. It seems to me that kids.
And I also used to get it because my mother was in a nursing home. Well, she's since passed away, but I've continued to get it. So.
But then there's these nurses who are working with sick people all the time, and they're the worst. They don't get flu shots. We've got several people we know that are nurses, and they never get it on the whole bit. And I'm thinking, really? You need to. And it's free. The government has set up a program. It's free. And actually, it's administered now by our Shoppers Drug Marts, which are a huge drugstore chain here in Canada. And you just go in. You don't need an appointment. You fill out a form for the government, and the pharmacist gives you the shot. They used to run clinics where, on a Saturday or something, you could go, or during the week, and, you kind of line up and they'd give you the shot and the whole thing like that. It's kind of a cattle call. But now it's all done by these drugstores and whatnot. And I got to take my mother. I said to her today, we went over to see her. I said, so, okay, I know you don't want to go this week to get your flu shot. So I guess the next week we'll have to make plans for that. Because the elderly really need to have the flu shot because they're especially susceptible to anything. So anyways, that's what we got to look forward to on Tuesday next week. Going in and get a shot. Needles don't bother me as much. They did when I was a kid. Now, I guess I've had blood taken so much now that it doesn't really bother me. And they're usually pretty good with it. So let's back up here because there's been a lot of comments. Sally Ann is in Melbourne, in Australia. We will be coming to Melbourne in February. We will be there for about a week as well. So let us know if there's something we should see or do when we're in Melbourne, places to eat. Just write them in the comments below this when this goes to rebroadcast. That would be great. It'd be great help to us as well. Neri says, cold for South Australia at this time of year. Wintertime gets down to about 4 to 5 degrees C, not much below that, at least in Adelaide, but gets very hot in the middle of summer, can get maximum of 43 to 44 C sometimes. Yeah, and that's the other extreme because we don't usually get, we've never had weather, I don't think.
Above 40.
Above 40.
35,
36. With the Humidex, it has gone to about 40. There were a few days this summer where it felt like that. But, but 4 to 5 degrees C, Bobby, that's not bad.
Yeah, well, you still have to wear clothes.
Well, yeah, we're not going to run naked across the front lawn. Art Out says, I got mine about 2 weeks ago. If you've ever had the actual flu, you'd get the shot thereafter to avoid it. Exactly what we were saying about that. And Meliart says, we also get flu shots here, but it's free only for older people and for people who need it because of health issues. It's universally free here for any age. Neri says, I get flu shot every year, 6 years now. All good. Never had the flu. Sometimes get a head cold. Doesn't protect from all strains of flu. Better to have it than not. I agree with you exactly. Knock wood, since I've been getting the flu shot, I have not had the flu again since then. But you get colds. Like we have one now. Actually, I'm glad I've had the cold now because that'll build up my immune system for the winter time. And Nairi says it's free to school workers, as it should be. Stephen should have a good immune system. Yeah, actually, I'm lucky. Knock wood again. I'm very seldom do I ever get sick. I don't know, good genes, I guess, or whatever. But you don't really get sick either.
Not very often. I get a cold every once in a while.
You have more of a bowel problem every now and then. You know, the words I like to hear when we're starting off in the car to go shopping. Oh, we have to go home right now. And oh yeah, there's going to be a problem. And that's why we don't have wallpaper in our bathrooms. Because he'd peel it. If you get my reference on that. Sally Ann says, get time of the year. I think she means good time of the year. Damn those spell checkers things. Nari says it will be hot in February. Yes, I know. And we're going up to Perth. We're going to make our way from Melbourne to Adelaide and up to Perth and then back down to Sydney.
We're flying Perth.
And, well, we're flying to Perth. Yeah, and boy, my arms will be tired. But I'm here all week, people. Try the veal, tip your waitress. Yeah, so we're prepared for that. I mean, when we were in Sydney,
It was pretty hot.
it was
We were in Sydney last December.
yeah, and it was quite warm in there. But I don't mind the heat, and the older I get, the more I don't mind the heat. It's the cold, damp cold, because that's usually what our winters are like. They're not fluffy white,
Miserable, Phil.
they're usually wet and damp, especially because we live near the lake and we get that effect.
Yeah.
And you could actually have in the south part of where we live, grass, no snow, and then you get up into where we live, which
is not
north.
very far from the lake, because we live. It's sort of like there's this little dividing line, and there's roads south of us, and it can be snowing up where we're living in our subdivision, and I drive south of that road, and it's there's no snow.
Yeah, so it's weird
really
where we live. Meliart says you could change this Stephen and Walter live for Sunday, same time as today. It would be much better than on Fridays, and this time is better too, at least for people in Europe. Yeah, that's true.
Okay, we could do that.
That's an idea. We could do that. Well, next week we definitely will not be doing it on Friday night, because, as I said earlier when we started this, for anybody who came in a little bit later, we have to do our volunteer stuff at the art gallery that we do once a month, because they have this event that happens on the first Friday of every month. So we won't be able to do it then. So
yeah, maybe Sunday afternoon would be good.
But I don't know if I want to drink water when we do that.
Okay, well, whatever.
Actually, I would have had a beer right now, but you said you didn't want that. You wanted water. So I
water.
thought, well, I don't want to look like a lush much. Nuri says, Sydney gets a lot of humid weather too. Adelaide, SA, that's South
Australia,
I guess. More of a dry heat. Perth can get really hot too. Bring your hats and sunscreen. Sunscreen, yes. I never wear a hat. He does.
I do. I have to
well,
wear
look. That's why. I never wear a hat. And the reason I don't wear a hat, and you people will think I'm crazy, but I don't care. You probably think I'm crazy already, is because I don't want to mess my do. I don't like hat head. If I'm going to wear a hat, it's never coming off my head, because I don't like my hair stuck all over the place. I'm just like that. Susie says if it's Champagne Friday, it should be Beer Sunday. Yeah, that's true. It doesn't mean there still won't be a Champagne Friday. It just means that maybe we won't do a broadcast. We still have Champagne Fridays. I don't know. I like doing it on the Friday night, though, too. But we'll see.
Yeah. You could actually do it Friday afternoon.
Yes, we could. Now that you don't work anymore.
Yeah.
We could do that.
Yeah.
And, in around the same time as we're doing on Sunday, but during Friday. But then there's people that work, though. On Sunday, maybe they don't. I don't know.
Okay.
Well, we're not going to be able to please everybody. I know that with it. So we'll just play it by ear. Let's see. What do we got here?
Actually, maybe try Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, maybe. Meliart says, now when it's wintertime here, the time difference is only 6 hours. Oh, that's in Finland.
Yeah.
So because you probably have what, like daylight saving time or something?
Well, next week our clocks go back.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So if we do it next Sunday, we came on here at about 3:00 this afternoon. Next Sunday, it would actually be 4:00. No, fall back. It would be 2:00.
Yeah.
But it would still be 3. Okay.
Yeah,
It's
never mind.
our clock time.
It would be an hour difference next.
So is that daylight saving time or is that standard time?
That's daylight savings.
Okay, we're going on daylight savings time. Yeah. What else is here? Things are going by real fast. 5 ahead now. So Art Out says coffee with Baileys would be a good Sunday drink. I don't really like Baileys. Too sweet.
No, I don't like it either.
But we could find something, I'm sure. Nairi says, lovely to chat with you all. I must be off now and get ready for work. I'll see you later. Okay, Nairi, have a good day at work.
Yeah, it's Monday.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot. It's Monday over there. Yep. Art out says no one need even know. Yeah. Well, I'm not a hidden drinker. I bring it right out front, and there you go. Let's see. Lots of buys. Yes, last week it was 7 hours, Meliard says. So they've already done their time change. We used to do our time change earlier. We used to do the time change in October. And then for some reason, and I don't remember why it was, the government decided no, it was going to be the first Saturday night
in November.
Or Sunday morning, actually.
Yeah,
Technically, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning or something. They
well,
say.
no, I think it used to be the end of October, but there was a thing about the poor children that were doing Halloween that would get dark out early.
Oh, was that the whole issue? It's got to be dark for Halloween.
Yeah, I know.
You have to do it in the dark. In fact, when we were kids, you didn't go out until it was getting dark. That was the rule. You went out when it, dusk actually, or just before. But oh well.
Mm-hmm.
And Meliart says, "Do you change time too?" Yeah, that's what we're saying. Yeah, we do too. We go on to daylight savings time next weekend. With that, so we go back an hour, fall back, and in spring we go ahead an hour. So spring forward, fall back. That's how you remember it. Angelica's here now. She says, "Hello, you two. I would like it at this time better too." Okay, we're getting a lot of people that like that. Well, how many were up to? Well, we had
22 at one point.
Yeah. That's still not breaking our record. We had 24 was our record. Yeah. Angelique said, "I missed you on Friday night. Thought you might have something." Yeah, well, we were busy on Friday night, Angelique. That's why we couldn't do it. And we were busy Saturday night, so that's why it's on today. Sally Ann says, "I always wear a hat and sunscreen. Had melanoma cancer last year." Oh, that's too bad. The sun is really bad here. Yeah, well, geez, that's not good. Angelica says, "Something else to do." Yep. Okay, well, people, I think that's a wrap with this. This is a little longer than I think this might be the longest one we've ever done. So considering that we came on with very little to talk about, there we go. So anyways, all right, so we will consider next week anyways that it'll be probably Sunday, maybe Saturday night. I don't know. We'll see about it. So stay tuned, and can't make it live for one reason or another. There's always the rebroadcast, but it is fun when it's live. And so my vlog will be out sometime tomorrow as well, so catch that. And we'll talk to y'all soon. So everybody, have a great Sunday, what's left of it, or if you're in Australia, have a great Monday. And we'll talk to y'all next week at some point. Bye-bye.